Recording in progress. Okay. Yeah, we've got a few people signing up on Facebook, YouTube, and on Zoom. All right. So the Orang Asli do not have words of greetings. In fact, they don't express themselves much with words at all, but more with gestures like bringing a basket of fruits or gifts to show that you come in peace. So if you bring a parang, that means you are coming to fight them. So you bring something nice, it means that you come in peace and you mean well. Perhaps, Shaq, do you want to share with us why is that you don't have words for these things?
Well, it's funny because you asked me yesterday. That I brought up before in my talk previously, and it is that's true that we don't invented certain word. So see, almost like the word is just obligated, make you obligate to say it that to show that you mean good, something that you want to show your gratitude. But actually, in Orang Asli, we believe word you can say it in many ways. So for us is to show gratitude by showing it in front of you. It's just what you did just now. Show that you mean good by showing the fruit in front of you, that you greet with the action rather than word.
And you mentioned that you, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's another reason is Orang Asli are quite gentle people. We don't like the confrontational kind of action. Confrontational action also it will not give a good so-called aura. It's not really give you good believe that spirit of the ancestor will not happy with you if you confront something.
And you mentioned you don't have words for love even. How do
exactly.
How do you express love?
By action. It's the same thing with word for thank you. We don't have word for thank you. Just show your action. Because like I said, if the word love can be used in many ways. You can get angry by say, I love to slap you, or I love to punch you, It's the same thing,
Fantastic. Yeah. Wow. I'm really drawn to that concept of feeling obligated by words and opening it to misuse because we attach too much meaning to words. So some people mean it differently, and then we think it means differently, and then there's a confrontation, like you said, because we misunderstand because of simple words, right? I think we can all learn from this. I mean, we're so-called modern communities, and yet I think you guys teach us so much with this wordless, communication. So a very good morning, everyone. That's our usual greeting. And welcome to the 30th edition of Tuesday Talk Live by Place Borneo. And we're here to talk about the Orang Asli, Malaysia's forgotten people, we name it. And in conjunction with the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, that was day before yesterday. So Shaq Koyok is here with us today to share with us his journey as an activist for the Orang Asli community. And he actually started to go into activism after a trip to Sarawak and after visiting our Orang Ulu here. So we've got a bond with Shaq now, and I think he'll share with us a bit about that later. He's also an artist, choosing art to communicate his messages. He's from the Temuan tribe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the third largest tribe of the 19 Orang Asli people groups in Malaysia, right? Okay, now for those of you on Zoom, as usual, just ask your questions on the Q&A, and on YouTube and Facebook, you can also just type your answers, your questions or your answers. I'm going to ask a question shortly, and then we'll pick it up as we go along, so don't wait until the end. So now I'm going to ask Chad to introduce himself, a bit of his background, but before that, maybe you guys in the audience, you can type your answer. I've got a question here. If you know any Orang Asli tribe, can you name one Orang Asli tribe that you know? So Shah is from Temuan, so that's what else do you know about the Orang Asli? Just type your answers and we'll see from there. So Shah, tell us about yourself and about your Temuan tribe.
Hello, my name is Shaq Koyok. I'm from Kampung Orang Asli Pulau Kempas in Banting, Selangor. So I'm the Temuan people near the Kuala Langat district of Selangor. Selangor, we have two tribes that live in Selangor. We have Mamari and we have Temuan. Often you can find Temuan adopted some of Mamari culture because most of Temuan and Mamari mixed marriage together because our village, our kampung is very next door to each other. Even my sister, she's married to Mamari. Her husband is Mamari, and they both they spoke two languages sometimes, and between Temuan and Mamari they mix together. So and also the culture also already absorbed together. And yes, the Temuan we also have in two other states like Negeri Sembilan and also Melaka, and a little bit in Pahang. Some, but the Temuan in Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, and near Pahang, they speak different language of Temuan. Yeah, and they are Belandas, Temuan Belandas. I am Temuan Mantra. So Temuan Mantra speak differently than Temuan Belandas.
Wow.
Just tiny bit different.
Okay. And your words are sometimes similar to Malay words, right?
Yeah. So something, yeah. It's our Austronesian.
Austronesian.
We speak Austronesian language. Yeah, I grew up in small kampung, very rural kampung, and a very I came from very poor family, so in a school in the near the kampung. Our kampung have one school, but we're surrounded by five villages. So all the five villages we school in one school. Sekolah kampung, Sekolah Kebangsaan Bukit Ceding. And then after that, go to school in the secondary school in the town of Banting. So town Banting is like, I think 7 or 8 kilometers from my kampung.
And are you guys nomadic in nature?
No, not anymore. But we actually move from place to place, but not nomadic. But we move after maybe like 50 years or 20 years. Because I noticed when I'm digging through all the history of my kampung, my village, I realized that we were in the forest. Just now it's called Kuala Langat North Forest Reserve. Our village were there until we moved around because one of them is because of communist emergency, and another thing is because of a disease. It's a long time ago. So I didn't know until when I went to the jungle and when I'm digging through the history of my village.
Okay, and how about your own journey towards becoming an artist right now?
Well, my journey started when I was little. I get inspired by my brother when I was 5 years old, and I saw him do his drawing and painting in front of me, and I got so interested in that, and then I tried to do painting with myself, and he taught me how to paint and how to draw as well, and then my love of art start dance until now, never stop.
Wow. And I'll just share, I saw you posting this was a painting of your grandmother, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
true.
And when was this done? And you mentioned that you used mangosteen on pandan, tika pandan, right? With
Yes, yes. So
mat of
this is,
pandan.
yeah,
Mm.
this is I done it recently, about a few days ago, 3 days ago.
Wow.
Yes. So I was aiming to get it done on the World Indigenous Day, So I'm happy it's finished. So this is a portrait of my late grandmother. Yeah. The word for grandmother is Gendoi in Temuan. So she passed away last year. So old age. She was 88, I think. And yes, and because now we in the fruit season, right? So it remind me every time it's fruit season, I will go to her place. Her place, she got a lot of fruit tree, got rambutan, mangosteen, and langsat. All the fruit I can get is at her place, at
Yeah.
her house. Yes, and that's I was thinking how we gonna say that story in the one portrait. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried many medium before, and then I come up that the mangosteen it can stick on the any surface and then they leave the stain permanently. Even my
Yeah.
one of my shirt it leave the stain permanently, right? You can
Yeah.
get rid of it. So I was thinking might as well use that. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Wow.
that's why this come up. So and also I use the pandan as weaving. Because the
Yeah.
weaving is very
So that you
no
do the weaving yourself, the mat that
no
you
no
weave?
no no. The weaving is came from my community in Perak,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in Greek Perak. So I saw the weaving and I bought it from the community itself. So they
Mm-hmm.
basically posted that to me. So I
Wow.
painted. So they got two, the weaving from Samai and the portrait is from Temuan.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you have lots more of these kinds of paintings and art form, right? Yeah. Wow,
Yes,
this is just amazing. And what else apart from mangosteen? I'm guessing the mangosteen skin, right? The outer layer,
yes,
which is the purple
exactly.
color. Yeah. What else can you use? Like what other fruits?
Rambutan, but rambutan,
Oh,
you need to use the skin as well, but you need to smash it really well.
okay.
Get the almost the sap from the skin, and this sap the skin as a stain, but the stain it will be a gray color rather
Mm-hmm.
than brown like mangosteen brown. Even though it look purple if you put in your skin on your but later on it would turn to
Brown.
brown. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, so that's very nice. And I think you've been involved in a lot of art exhibitions as well. Maybe you want to tell us a bit more about which ones you've been involved in.
Well, so many locally, internationally. I think I don't know what to say. I think uh, one notable one is Petronas Gallery. I involved
Wow.
two exhibitions in the Petronas Gallery, and I exhibited in National Gallery. And my solo exhibition recently in March this year.
Mhm.
So I think the best work that I done was in the National Gallery because it was the biggest.
Wow.
So it's an installation of the different weaving all together. It's about 25 foot long artwork.
Wow. So we have to go there and have a look ourselves. Do you have any like online gallery that people can see your artwork, or if they want to
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
it
yeah.
and stuff?
You can look in my blog,
Mm-hmm.
and also you can check out my social media as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when we talk about art, you said your brother was the one who influenced you, and you got that. You got started with art, but why, painting, and you've done a bit of installation art as well, right?
Yes.
But why art? Why not other things? Why not singing? Why not dancing or other
You
forms?
know, yeah, that's a good question. I was really interested in art first, and then music after. And in my free time, I love to play music, and I love to go jamming with my friends. When I was in university, I started a band with my friends. I was thinking, oh, this is it. I'm gonna do music, while I'm painting. So I was thinking I want to do both, but I think my art shine more than my music. So
Mm. So it was a phase of you discovering yourself, and you discovered that art was more your thing.
absolutely.
Okay. So that's the artist part of you, and then let's talk about your activism life. How that all got started, and it's interesting to know that you came to Sarawak and visited the Orang Ulu tribe, or their kampongs, the villages, and how did that get you started with activism?
Well, actually, my activism was start in the university, and when my lecturer asked me to tell a story for my village, the in the story I really want to tell was a deforestation that happened in my village, the forest in my village. But I was in the Malacca, then I would just continue work on the how to paint, how to draw, how to depict the story in the canvas. And I don't have the activism kind of way to express it, but I learned how to express it on the canvas. And then later on, when I continue my study in degree, then I have a chance to go to Sarawak. So because I got interested to find out about Malaysia itself, So I went to Cebu. I flew to Cebu, and then I took a what's it called? The boat, big boat, and it's a long journey. It's about 7 hour boat trip from
Wow.
Cebu to I forgot the name of it. I said Takat or Takat. Tagat, something like that. I
Oh,
just
okay.
forgot. This is 2007.
Yeah.
So I stopped in the town. So I stayed there for one day before I take another boat trip to Balaga. From Balaga, and I got a guide that who are indigenous. I believe he was Kenya.
Okay.
And then he drove from Balaga to Bintulu. Is it Bintulu?
Yep, Bintulu.
From Balaga to Bintulu, I think. And he tell a story about his village, his hometown, and through all the journey, I can see so much of deforestation right around us. So we went to the logging activity road where the road was not really proper road. So I can relate, and I actually told him about what happened in my village. He told me about his village, and then after that, I just want to tell a story. So that's where my activism start.
Okay. And from there, what was your next few steps when you came back to West Malaysia? What did you do?
Yeah, I joined the workshop with the JOAS. It's a network of indigenous people in Malaysia. That we done some workshop how to present ourselves, how to talk, how we gonna do deal with the deforestation and land grab and so on, and learn ourselves about the land right and human right, and we staged a street demonstration in Central Market. Then I was in the university, right?
Oh, okay. Wow.
This is just after my visit to the Sarawak. It's really inspired me, really sparked my activism in me, because my art is already activism. got activism element in it, but actually I want to share more. So that's actually helped me, with art also helped me to feel free, to feel brave to talk about it.
Mm. And did you connect with any of the international indigenous peoples, community or associations? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, when I received the award from Malaysia, Merdeka Award grant for international attachment in 2017, and then I have an opportunity to further my research on the indigenous art and also institution in the country abroad in Australia, New Zealand, and UK. So during my time there, I met so many indigenous artists, indigenous activists, and also indigenous people in Australia and New Zealand. So I make a friend with them, and now we become very close, and then we keep in touch each other in the social media. They even asked me to join in one of their group that talking about the decolonization kind of movement in New Zealand, and also about the activism of Aboriginal people in Australia. So I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to sharing my knowledge. I also learn the knowledge about the indigenous people in our region, in our South Pacific kind of area that I never have an opportunity to go to this explore myself with this grant that's really brilliant, because it not just allow me, but actually it actually give you space for artists to be creative and to expand their career.
Wow, that's amazing. So you went all the way to Australia, New Zealand, and met with them and learned from them. And they learned from you guys and learned from what we have in Malaysia.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's your personal journey. Tell us a bit more about the Orang Asli community in general. What is one of the biggest challenges that the community is facing right now?
Well, the biggest challenges was, I think now, the biggest was the representation. I think that's another one of the challenges that we have, that the representation for me is matter, because without representation, this is what the stuff happening in Orang Asli. One of the effect from the lack of representation is not many common Malaysian know about Orang Asli stuff. They even never heard a word of Orang Asli until they meet me or meet other Orang Asli themselves. And another challenges was racism, and I think that's because lack of knowledge about Orang Asli. The bully case in the school, and also dropout cases in the school was high. So most of Orang Asli doesn't finish up their school. So only about 10% that finish. I think about 40% that finished their high school. So that's a lot. About 60% just drop out. So yes, for example, like in my year, it's only me and my friend, only two of us out of 15 students that's finished school.
Oh.
That's for that's my peer, my friends. They cannot continue school because they cannot handle the pressure, they cannot handle the racism, they cannot handle the bully in the school. So that's actually affect a lot. You found so many Orang Asli, they not finish school, they don't have Sijil SPM, they don't have what's it called, SRP or PMR. They don't finish. Yeah. So yes, that's quite a lot. That will affect their adulthood also.
Yeah, that's very sad. And I think that's, like you said, it's an effect because of a lack of representation. And so people don't know much about the Orang Asli. I
Yeah.
don't think I have any friends from the Orang Asli people, or even from the Orang Penan that we have here. I have lots of Iban and Bidayu friends, but not from the Orang Penan.
Mm.
So I think from there you don't know much about them, and kids being kids, sometimes kids, they can be quite harsh with each other, I guess. But how did you handle it, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Well, I think because I got the talent in me, I think that's helped me a lot to emotionally encourage myself. So
Mm-hmm.
in the school, in high school, I just show my talent, which
Mm-hmm.
is art. So
Mm-hmm.
I keep grow, and then I become the teacher in recognize my talent. So they asked me to represent the school. So I represented the school in many art competition. I won in many award for the school. So
Wow.
the school even known me to be kind of arty person in the school. So they recognize me as a person who have talent, who give a good name for the school. Then that actually saved me. I don't get that. But before people know about my talent, I get the bully a lot. People call me many names. They make a fun of my father's name. They make a fun of way I dress, my hair, and so on. And after they discover that I have the talent art, then I, I'm become their friends now. So art basically saved me from have those experience. At the same time, art actually give me confidence to talk.
Mm. That's really amazing and touching, I would say. And I think perhaps from there we can learn that the school also plays a role in protecting, the Orang Asli people while they're in school, so that they finish at least. Because
Yes,
that will affect their lives, when they go into working, world, when they mix with other people. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and you mentioned about representation and, well, the lack of representation. How do you propose we can resolve this? Is there a solution that you've been thinking about?
Ah, I think there's so many way we can do. One of the very crucial thing is uh, put the or actually history and story or indigenous story or history
Mm,
in a Malaysian textbook. That's one of the thing.
that's right.
That's one of the important thing. But apart from that, you produce more content about Orang Asli,
Mm,
especially story from the Orang Asli itself. Let the Orang Asli to tell their story rather than us forcing them to tell the story. Let us give a space for Orang Asli, give a opportunity to Orang Asli to tell their story, to show their work, to show the art, to show the culture. Yeah,
mm.
I think that's another thing we can do. And like I said, representation, a little thing that will make a change.
Mm. Okay, I think that's great. Like just creating a platform for them to express themselves. This could be
Absolutely.
through art, this could be, through talks like this that they can talk to you. But if they're not the type who talk a lot, like you said, so I think expression would be a more, easier platform for them, right? But you have to create that environment for them.
Yeah, okay, exactly. A safe environment. That's the most important thing.
Mm.
Without judgment, without prejudice, without anything. Just a safe environment, safe place for Orasli to express themselves freely.
Yeah. And what can we learn? I mean, I'm sure you guys have gone through a lot of harsh histories, and you mentioned in your, bio that when you were younger, you saw how the land was taken away from your community, logging and all that. And so, how did that affect you?
Well, it's traumatized. I keep having this until now, but I managed to handle it with creating work based on that kind of
Mm,
trauma. It's actually because probably I was really observe on what's it called, taking too much of the place as my emotion. So I take it really sometimes emotionally. I invested emotionally on that forest. That's actually hit me the most. I think that's happened a lot in Orang Asli community as well. But because they like I said, not many Orang Asli who have courage to express themselves, to open their wound, open their heart, like myself. If you don't hear that story, because so many Orang Asli quite afraid to open themselves to others, because this is not what we are. I learned it really hard way. I learned it from my journey. The journey that I took is really give me strength now.
Wow, that's really powerful. And would you recommend, I mean, because the Orang Asli, maybe they don't want to talk about their experiences. They don't actually focus on words like you mentioned, they're more on gestures, right? Would you think that maybe art is the best platform for the Orang Asli people?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have to encourage more of them.
Yeah, I think that's, you can see a lot in Borneo as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Before you meet the person, you can see the art around. That's what I really love about Borneo indigenous people, because a beautiful art in front of you. Before you meet the person, you can see the art first. That actually give you idea really, and it give you a lot of respect on that person. I think that's the most important thing. Before you hear them talk or meet the person, you can see that representation is there. So I think visual language is, I think we can explore more on that.
So you don't even have to know the person. You look at his or her art and you understand what she's trying to say, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's very powerful. In your case, I guess that's also a very, very powerful. You tell your stories. We've got one comment from Alina Murang. She's watching on Facebook. Yeah. So she mentioned that Alina is one of our performers as well. She plays the saket really well. And she says that she learned a lot about Orang Asli through Bro Shaq and other Orang Asli artists. Art is so powerful to open doors, to tell and listen to stories. That's beautiful. And that's from Alina. So what else, like from your experience from land grabbing or deforestation in your childhood, during your childhood, in your community, what does that tell you about the Orang Asli in Malaysia, and what can we learn from that history of your personal history? Yeah.
Well, Orang Asli or indigenous people, we always have tied to the land. So the land is our soul, in our spirit, in our heart, in our blood. So that actually is our identity. So without the tanah adat or customary land, the tie will be cut off. You see, the identity will cut off. So they will lose their identity. They lose their culture altogether. And I find it often where I went to many Orang Asli villages where they don't have forest anymore because the forest been deforested and been planted with the palm oil or any vegetation, or be developed into city, into development area. So, and the community they lost their touch to the culture. Some of the community doesn't know how to do weaving anymore, doesn't know what certain weaving name, even the name is even the language that disappearing, because they were surrounded with the environment that doesn't allow them to practice their culture. and it doesn't allow them to practice their art. It doesn't allow them to practice their language. So that's I think everybody need to learn that. Orang Asli, indigenous people we are very tied to the land. Land is our identity.
Wow, that's really strong when you said that, when you break that tie to your tanah adat, and then you sort of cut it off, and you have no identity, you have nothing to ground you down and tie you to nature, to mother nature. And that's very sad because that's happening everywhere, even in Sarawak. So our orang Penan, they're forced to live in settlements where they're not comfortable, and they don't want to live in settlements because they're nomadic. They need to live in the jungle. So that's something that I think the authorities or leaders will need to really take heed and balance development and our customary rights, our peoples. We don't have to develop all the land in Malaysia. We can set aside some for our Orang Asli, and for us, we are all tied to nature. Actually, we are all tied to the land, not just the Orang Asli, but we've lost that touch. So we are more used to buildings now because we were brought up in a city, you see. I think that's really powerful. And I just read this in one of the websites. It's called the Joshua Project, and they were talking about the Orang Asli people. And they said that you guys, well, it's similar to the Iban and the Bidayu and Orang Ulu here, that you also take signs from nature, like birds. So when you're walking, if you hear a bird call, it could mean that something bad is going to happen. Do you have anything like that with the Temuan? And
yes.
what bird is that? I'm a bird watcher, so I'm really interested about birds when I read that.
So many birds actually. Wait, I have to pick one, right?
Yeah.
Like in Temuan we call this bird Koyok.
Koyok.
Koyok actually bee eater. You know bee eater?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color, right? But in Temuan, bee eater or Koyok is very kind of they are the bird who give a sign that bad spirit will coming. That only happen in the evening. If bee eater they flew together in the sky, we can hear the noise of the bee eater. That's the sign of the bad spirit. It's like a ghost were coming. So when the sun can hear the sound of the Koyok bird, we need to burn some incense or something in the house.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, I remember that. And then in my mom, I remember my mom always burn some incense, and we woken up with a smoky house. Like, what am I doing? And she said, "There's a Koyok birds already warn us the spirit are coming."
I see.
So we were like, and then we end up sleeping all together, so afraid.
Wow. Any other birds any other like good signs, if you see any bird with good signs?
Wait, yeah, there's so many birds. I think forget the name of it. Okay. Bayan is a good omen bird. Bayan, what's it called? A parrot, right? Parrot. A parakeet.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Parakeet, okay.
Yeah, parakeet, of course. Every time we hear parakeet, that's mean as a fruit season, because they eat fruit, right?
Yes.
So makes sense.
Yeah.
Soon we know that they come together in a big, I'm not sure, it's a flock of birds.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be.
and then we know it's a good time to go hunt, because when the fruit season, there's animal there. So wild boar in there, or deer in there, and even you can get a fruit from the jungle. So that's a good omen. But and there's so many things, even though the butterfly also, or bat, or the what's it called? Keluang bat, also good omen. Of course, bring the durian, right? The
Oh, I
bat,
see. So
the
the
bat
bats
is,
are actually a good omen for you guys.
yes, but if a bat flew inside your house, that's bad omen.
Okay, so a different. Okay, if you see outside, it's okay. Not in the
Yeah,
house. Okay,
not in the house.
stay outside. Okay, then it's good. Well, right now bats are really not a good thing because well, COVID are they relate it to bats and stuff. But it's good to know that it means the fruiting season is out. So it
Yes.
means a lot of animals are gonna be out, so you can go hunting. Amazing. Yeah, I think Goyo the bee eater, but you get that a lot by the beach though. So if you see a lot of it, then every time you'll have to be scared of them, or you have to burn
Only in the
incense.
evening.
Oh,
It's
only if you
a
see it in the
it's a
evening.
different sign in the daytime, but evening then I mean differently.
Awesome. Wow. And I'm sure you've got a lot of the other birds that, if you're walking, you come across it and other animals. We've got one comment from Facebook from Rachel Elaine Baptist. So she's saying, thanks, Shaq Koyok, for sharing. We need to work towards persevering, I think, to preserve the customary land of the Orang Asli. Now I understand better why Orang Asli community is so closely knitted, because your land is your identity. So that's comment from Rachel watching us from Facebook. Amazing. And I read this one. I read from Wikipedia, so I'm not sure whether this is correct or accurate. It says that if there's a storm and there's lightning and thunder, so you guys have to keep quiet, because then if the god think that if you're making noise, the god might confuse you with an evil spirit, and the lightning will strike you. Is that right?
Yes, totally.
Serious. So
Absolutely,
you guys will
yes.
keep quiet in the house when there's thunder and lightning.
Yeah, and we have to close our ear. Something like that.
Oh, we still do that though. If there's a thunder and lightning, everyone will start doing that. Oh, I
And
see.
we have you have to say a word like abokapok, abokapok.
Oh, okay.
That is the Temuan said that's not your enemy, something like that. So
I
you don't
see.
get strike or something.
I see. All right. That's very interesting. That's interesting. And so what are your hopes for the Orang Asli community in Malaysia?
Well, my hope is I hope a lot of students in the school finish the school. That's the
Mm,
most.
yeah.
I think that's very important. I think all the students need to finish their school in the high school. I hope there's a safe place for Asli to express themselves freely
Mm,
and without judgment. And also, schools should be a place, should be a safe place for Asli school, our Asli student, especially to those very vulnerable community also. So I think that's my hope for Asli. And another hope is I hope Asli take a step and speak about their story, and hope that they remember they are the original people of the country. They are the first people of the country, and they should take the opportunity to tell their story, take the opportunity to be brave, take the opportunity to show their potential and
mm.
their art, the reach of history, the reach of the knowledge about our land. So that's my hope.
Mm. And I think what you mentioned earlier, I think from maybe from the authorities or the government point of view, to include it in our syllabus, in our textbooks, I think that will be a really big start, because people don't know much about the Orang Asli. Sorry, one question just came in, so I'm just gonna ask you this. Does the Orang Asli still believe in animism, or most have adopted other religion?
Most of us still practices animism. Like myself, I still practices animism. Even though I
Okay.
live in the city, I still have the animism in me. And others also adopted because mixed marriage with other community like Chinese, Indian, Malay. So
Mm.
yeah,
And what practices do you do, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, what I do, we believe if it rain, we need to put green on your head to
Oh,
protect
okay.
you. If you have to walk in under the rain, you need to put green,
Near
example
your ears.
leaf or flower or something. Yeah. So around your head. So
Oh,
that's why you often see in Orang Asli with a headband. Also, there's another reason why we wear it in the jungle sometimes to protect us from the rain. So now it's become headgear. Now become beautiful weaving. But originally, I think it's come from that tradition.
oh,
Another thing is we cannot whistle in the night.
oh, okay. What will happen if you whistle in the night?
Well, some spirit will hear you. They will go inside your house. It's like
Calling
you're
them.
calling them exactly. So
Scary.
night time is very sensitive to do many things. Like you cannot cut your finger, you cannot cut your hair in the night. So
Oh, okay.
fingernail,
Actually,
yeah.
cutting the fingernails, I think a lot of Malays also believe that now. I mean, we can't cut our fingernails at night,
It's come from animism. The
right?
before any religion. I think many animism belief have similar belief.
Mm-hmm.
If you go in Indonesia as well, the animism similar that to Orang Asli. Yeah, I spoke to one of the community or indigenous community in Indonesia, and I noticed they have similar taboo.
Mm. Okay. And you said the night is actually a very sensitive time of the day. What shouldn't you do at night apart from cutting nails and all that?
I think we cannot slaughter animal in the night too.
Okay.
Pregnant woman cannot go out in the night.
Okay.
Your little kids cannot go out in the night, especially in the jungle. You cannot go in the jungle in the night
Oh,
for
okay.
little boy. If you have to be over 18 or over 15, then you can allow to go out in the night. So we're afraid the spirit will possess that body or create so much disease or will affect the health basically.
Well, I guess that's also a very practical way of doing it because
Absolutely. If you want to know the practical way, there's so much reason behind it. Is based on a practical reason. Like, for example, if you whistle, before we live in a small village, we actually live in a village nearby the forest. The whistle will bring so much animal inside your house also. For example, snake or all the thing that like bat. If you whistle, the bat will come to your house or something in the night. So it's quite practical. Also, if you want to do like cut hair in the night, you cannot see in the night, right? Living in the village, we don't have the electricity. The only light is fire. You basically, it's not practical to cut your hair in the night.
Yeah,
so
you might cut your ears.
Exactly. That my interpretation, but and I rather follow the rule of the animism.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that's very practical though. And one more question we have: do the Orang Asli? Do you guys have any food restrictions? Do you not eat certain animals?
Yes. We cannot eat certain bird like burung mina. I think burung mina. That
the noisy one, right?
The noisy one means if you eat it, you'll be non-stop talking. You will noisy, yes. And also your child will have similar.
Really?
Newborn will have a similar.
Also, okay.
Talking, yeah. Loud also.
Talkative, okay.
Yeah.
How about like wildlife? Endangered wildlife. Like, here we have the orangutans.
Certain animal like we cannot eat, like tiger. And
why is it you can't eat the tiger? What's the reason?
Because they certain Orang Asli have become a tiger. So and we believe some certain Orang Asli that pass away in disappear in the jungle, and they actually become tiger. The transform into tiger. So we believe tiger is one of us.
Okay.
It's our brother. We call it brother. Ge is mean brother in my community. Yeah, ge.
All right. Okay.
So it will be get something. And this happened in one incident. I'm not sure I said it correctly. This was, I think, before me, or I was in the university something. And our village, they lost their one sibling on a car accident, and he came back as a tiger in the house.
Oh.
And as a spirit tiger, and and people so scared by them by that, and then actually I was like confirm the myth, the story, the folklore, but tiger is one of our sibling, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, is I wasn't there, but one of the villager, yes, saw it.
They saw him as a tiger coming back to the village.
Coming to his home.
To his house in the village.
To the house, yeah.
Wow, right after the accident itself.
Yeah, right after the accident. Before they know he died in an accident.
Oh, I see. Before they even knew about the accident. Right.
This is weird. And then suddenly tomorrow later, everybody got shocked. He passed away.
Oh, wow. And also, I guess because of your really deep connection with nature, with the land, with the animals, with the plants. And so all the animals are connected to you, spiritually. You guys are all connected. Wow,
absolutely.
That's really amazing. That's amazing. Okay, we're almost 1 hour. I don't see any more questions, but I think, I'm sure we all have a lot more questions that we can ask you. And I hope, like what you said, we can have a safe place for the Orang Asli to express themselves. And some have found their way of expression through music, through art. Before we end, any messages that you want to give to non-Orang Asli people and also the Orang Asli people?
Well, I think life is about balance, and the balance that we need to keep. And in the country, if we don't include the Orang Asli in our society, it will be imbalance. So that's things people need to work on it. Balance, you need to work on it. And in order to work on it, you need to include other community to build a safe nation and build a harmonious nation. It's just not just a philosophy, but it's action. You need to do an action. And in order to do that, you need to, work together to give a safe place to any vulnerable community, especially Orang Asli, and give us some space to tell our story freely and safely and without any judgment. I think that create a better future for our country, especially to the indigenous people.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. And we need to learn more about each other, about the Orang Asli, about even among ourselves. We don't even know some of our own, people here. So that's a really powerful conversation we had with Shaq Koyok. Thank you so much for being a speaker, for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate that. And thank you to the audience for your questions. Alina, you're here with us as well. Thank you to our partner, TV Sarawak, for showing this on their Facebook page live. And see you guys. The next session we'll have in 2 weeks' time, and we'll announce that. Until then, you guys have a safe day ahead and keep well. All right. Thank you, Shaq.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No worries.